Thank you for joining us. This is Famous Roots. I'm Eric. I am joined with the wonderful Dow. Thank you so much for being with us.
Here.
As kind of giving you the rundown of what Famous Roots is, kind of going over your history, your successes, your background in working with many influential people. My first question is, where are you originally from?
I am originally from California. I'm a West Coast girl, born in the Bay Area, and then married a Hawaiian, moved to Hawaii, had my daughter there, moved back, farmed in Oregon, and then from Oregon, where I was for 17 years an animal control officer, decided, you get old, that stuff hurts. And so then I wanted to become a full-time tattooer.
What brought you to the East Coast?
The need.
Really?
It really was. It was kind of the height of the Miami ink craze. Kat Von D was very hot, but didn't live in Miami. There wasn't really a residential female tattoo artist in South Beach. So I was asked to come.
Interesting. Have you ever done anything like for like Ink Masters? Like, have they ever come out to you and whatnot to like be on their show or do their competition?
No, I'm kind of a introverted extrovert. It's kind of an ADHD thing. But so no, I don't really go, looking for something like that. Everything, my path in life has been, I'm so blessed. And things just tend to open if I'm brave enough to walk forward. So it did kind of start with, I was working at Lucky Tattoo in South Beach.
Okay.
At the time, they had 3 locations. And it was a project that was being pitched to MTV, and which I started working with CeeLo Green.
Oh, okay.
And then it was from there, that project, we decided, both he and I kind of mutually went, all right, this isn't really what we thought. 8 hours of video footage to garner a 1-hour episode. It's a lot. In doing so, they got to kind of know me and my work ethic and what I'm doing. And so then my name got passed.
Okay.
And then that's kind of how I met this other tattooer named Jewel, who used to do some tattoos on Wayne and knew that Wayne wanted a female artist to start, getting into some other parts.
Right.
And that's kind of how that clicked. I worked with him for about a month or 2, and then we just hit it off.
If you could recall, how many tattoos do you think you've done on Lil Wayne?
Gosh, we kind of did this guesstimate before, and it was quite the count, but roughly, we are guessing about 300 on his body.
Average time span, how long do you think his sessions were?
Probably about anywhere from a real quick 45 minutes to about 2 hours.
Okay.
I was almost at the Hit Factory as a full-time job.
And he would fly you out randomly too, right?
You bet. We all lived there in Miami, so I was either at the Hit Factory, at his home, or wherever he was, and he needed that little bit of, not only does he love tattoos, but I think there's something about the endorphin release kind of gets things going.
Right.
So yeah, anywhere. I would literally get a call from CJ, hey Dow, can you get on a plane in 2.5 hours?
Would you do it on his shows, like if he was touring and everything too, like before shows, after shows?
After shows.
Really?
Yeah. I was on tour for a good portion of the I Am Music, I'm Still Music, and a couple dates on his 3rd tour after that. I was so lucky to be with him from 2008 to 2015.
That's awesome.
So I really feel like I got such a good, he's had an amazing, amazing long career. But I sure did get a really fun chunk of it.
I was going to say, you got the peak, like a good portion, because he was everywhere. Every single hit was Lil Wayne is either his song or featured.
He treats his crew like gold.
Right.
So I got to experience things on any other format, would not
Mhm.
have got to be there when he was at the Grammys.
That's awesome.
Um, yeah. Uh,
Would you, would it just be Lil Wayne, or did you do anybody else within Young Money?
oh, you bet. In anybody's, some nights I'd go out there and he just, I'm busy. He's either recording,
Right.
he just wasn't feeling it, but he wanted me there. And you bet if it was, hey, can you hit up da da da, I've done a couple on Birdman, took Drake's tattoo virginity. I did.
That's
I
awesome.
did. I
What was
did
his first
Drake's.
tattoo?
It was the lyric to a song which had just come out, and it was "If I Died Today, It'd Be a Holiday,"
Oh, wow.
and that was Drake's first tattoo. And then underneath it, we put his shouts, his OVO reps
Oh,
up,
that's super cool.
YMCMB.
Did you like when you were within doing all these personal tattoo, side jobs or main job, I should say? Did you hear like a lot of like crazy stories or like inside stuff? Like, let's say like Lil Wayne or Drake or anybody part in partnership of Young Money, they're hey, we're gonna do this collab or we're gonna do this song or anything like that. Like, did you ever hear like their inside stories that
Not really, because my focus was on what I was doing,
right?
and typically, I would be set up in his sound booth,
Okay.
like, just
Right.
very quietly behind the shield, but that's kinda where I would sit. Um, in my wait times at the time, she would kill me, but Reginae was little girl. She was just a child, and her and Birdman's daughter would come in and sing me songs and do little performances. They were adorable. Um, but no, I think mostly in hearing him talk, Wayne is an intelligent man who would be down to do collaborations with anyone
Right.
who's gonna do a good job at
Right.
it.
Right.
So that kind of thing, I know he was very open. I mean,
Mhm.
heck, I was his tattooer. Like, he could have picked anybody in
Right.
any shape or form, and it was me. So
And you said when you first got introduced, it was because somebody introduced you through like a mutual partnership kind of thing, and they gave you
yeah.
like the contact information. They called you just randomly, or was it like all set up?
No, I was working at Lucky Tattoo.
Mhm.
I'm on the second floor at 11th and Collins, right there in downtown South Beach, putting the key in the door at midnight. And Bless, who was Wayne's first PA,
Mhm.
um, came up, had the Escalade parked downstairs, kind of weird, straight. I know I'm on a microphone, you can't see it, but did that head to toe glance and went, "You're exactly who I'm looking for." At midnight, bro, come on. So it was okay, I'll be here tomorrow. If you need a tattoo, come back and see
Right.
me. And he's all, "No, I've been sent here to pick you up. Little Wayne wants me to take you out to his recording studio." Oh, does he? Like, and I'm just kind of a natural born skeptic. I'm in South Beach.
Right.
So, it kind of went around for a little bit just because this guy's vibe. So finally I go, "Well, do you have a business card or something?" And he's like, "No, I don't have a business card that says I'm Lil Wayne's PA." But, and then he just kind of, okay, this isn't going quite like I had planned. So he goes, "Look, Wayne would like you to come out to the Hit Factory. They've asked for you by name. But if you don't come, I am gonna go try to find a female tattooer who will come."
Right.
Well, see, now there you go. That's probably how you should have approached me. And off it went.
That's
And
awesome.
I literally called my boy Sergio and went, "Okay, take down this plate number. It's a black Escalade, plate number, blah, blah, blah. If I'm not in the shop tomorrow, call the cops." No cops were needed, and a 7-year career started right
That's
then and
awesome.
there, and it's been a beautiful thing.
And going off of your career with tattooing for Young Money, how did that affect your life as a whole? Like,
Oh my
flying
goodness.
around all this, obviously money. Did that also boost like your business yourself? Like, did people once they find out, like, oh, you're Young Money's tattoo artist, I want to get tattooed?
Absolutely. I would love to say that. No, every client who has come to me has strictly come because of my sheer talent. Not the case. No, of course. No, this has opened doors that I didn't even know had knobs on them. Like,
Right.
it really has. Not only has it made me grow as a human, it pushed me to limits that I thought, wow, I didn't know I could tattoo under those circumstances. It's definitely was not easy work,
All right.
easy money, easy anything. But Wayne's success comes because he is all in.
Hmm.
And that's what he showed me. You can do whatever you want all in.
Right.
And so, and that's what he expects. If you work for him, he wants it all, but he gives you it all back.
Right.
So
Right.
that was really awesome to see how broad thinking, how determined his work ethic pushed into me even more than I thought I had
Right.
already, you know?
And how long was it from your very first tattoo, like start into tattooing, and then right after you got into Young Money? Like, was it a couple years? Was it pretty fresh off?
A couple years, just a couple years. I'm gonna say 3 years, a 2-year good apprenticeship, a year
Oh
in the
wow,
shop, and boom,
that's quite the
right?
that's quite the career then.
It really is. And then, through contacts through him,
Mhm.
other opportunities, it's yeah, let me go where I want,
Right.
experience things.
Are you still in touch with any of them?
Sure, like his still and long term, and she started, I think, a year or 2 before me with them. Marissa Flores is who is Wayne's personal stylist,
Mhm.
who makes him look so fly, and I love her to pieces. Yeah,
That's
she's like one
awesome.
of my besties.
That's awesome.
But yeah, we get when you tattoo somebody's birthday on their arm, you always have to send them a happy birthday.
You'll never
And
forget.
I've made an incorrect butt dial and called them before. It's like, "Oh, sorry, boss. That's not what I was trying to do. Have a great day."
How about for yourself? For your tattoos that you have you done some on yourself or most of
Every
yours?
single thing I can reach.
Really?
Yeah, if I could reach it, I've tattooed. Well, I think I have trust issues. I'm not gonna confirm that. But, no, I'm a big baby, and I hurt me less than everybody else hurts me.
I was gonna say, it's a pain tolerance difference if you're doing it for somebody
I don't
else.
know why. It's not like I have to go exactly where you gotta go to make a good
Right.
tattoo. There's no lighter or deeper. You're gonna mess it up.
Right.
But no, it's better.
What's the longest session you've done on yourself?
Uh, hour and a half. After that, I'm a crybaby, and I don't like them anymore. They hurt.
Yeah.
But the one on my forearm, that's Wayne's autograph. He did that one himself.
Oh, that's awesome.
That
That's
was a good
super
fun
cool.
night. Uh,
Did you have to tell him, like, go easy, or or did he just
no,
grab it and
if
go?
anything, he was super nervous. And I had to tell him to go because he stopped 3 times to go, "Am I hurting you? Am I hurting you?" And I'm like, "No, you gotta just stick it in and go." But then once he figured that out, Picasso. There
Right.
you go, Picasso.
That's incredible. And I only have 3 on my arm. Hopefully gonna work towards a sleeve, and we'll see where it goes from there, but
I know someone.
yeah, I know someone right in front of me. There are long sessions I've had. I think every single one I've had have been at least 3+ hours.
3 hours on a big piece.
Yeah.
That's about where I think it's a good spot to
Mhm.
stop. Your
Right.
body wants to start
Oh, yeah.
healing. Yeah,
My
it's a
skin
good
gets
spot.
completely raw, and I'm like, "All right." Well, halfway through at what, an hour and a half, I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'm hoping we're almost done." I'm like, "Oh, he's got so much more to go."
Mac Main, president of Young Money,
Right.
he's got wings from top of his shoulders down to his waist. We did 7 straight hours at his place.
That is crazy.
I was dying. I couldn't imagine he wasn't dying, but it's
Right.
Mac,
Right.
so he had it.
Yeah.
But, oh, no.
The last time I did my tattoo, there was somebody doing an entire back piece, and I can't even imagine how long that they were even there. I think I could be wrong, but if I'm my memory gives, is right, I think he was there for 12 hours. I think he was there for 12 hours. Yeah.
So your skin does, I mean, that's so hard to even envision
Right.
because your skin is an organ.
Yeah.
And it is straight telling you to get off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Once, because I remember when I got the my pyramid tattoo, I remember feeling he was by like I don't even know what you call this area.
Ditch.
Yeah, like that area, but like I looked and he wasn't. It just felt because my skin was so raw. He was over by like kind of the mid forearm area.
That's what happens
Yeah.
here too.
So I was completely blown away because I'm like, okay, that really hurts. He's like, that area hurts a lot. He's like, I'm not even at that area. And I looked, I was like, oh my God, you're not.
How those little nerve endings, wherever they wire to, is
Right.
what you're gonna feel.
I would say probably the most painful part that I've gotten tattooed is probably this underarm of the forearm. I think that's like the most like sensitive of my skin. Like
So
the
you
elbow.
don't have your ribs.
Nope.
You don't
have the
have the
ribs.
ditch. Don't have your calf.
Nope. Just the
Okay.
wrist, kind of a little bit of the wrist, and then a little bit of the elbow area.
Well, it can get better.
Yeah. Let's talk about a little bit about Fort Myers. So you came to Fort Myers in 2014.
Yes. So I had Wayne's body pretty done.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just he's always going to want to go back
Right.
and just touch. But yes, as far as coverage, and then it was okay. I've just never really been a city girl per se. And though Miami is, I think, the most beautiful city I've seen, I'm more of this. I'm
Right.
kind of a small town girl. And so someone had kind of said, well, you should go check out Fort Myers Beach. That because I pretty much grew up kicking around Santa Cruz.
Right.
So that little surfer town, and
Not too
now
far from San
I'm older,
Francisco.
so I paddleboard instead of
Right.
surf. But looking for that, that little beachy haven. And I came over with my daughter to spend a weekend, kind of scout around, and it was kind of love at first sight. It
Awesome.
really was. I just was, it's like flat Hawaii.
Pretty much.
Flat Hawaii.
Right.
So I came over, and it has been just the most welcoming, small community, really stick together.
That's blowing up.
And then when you see catastrophe
Right.
hit,
Right.
boy, it just amplified. Of course, it was crazy tragic.
Right.
I went through immense survivor's guilt.
Was this your first hurricane you've ever been through?
No, but the first one that took everything away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when I was here, I lived during 2014 and 2021. Was sort of through Irma. I was in Orlando at the time when Irma hit, and then that was pretty much the only hurricane. Really,
I was on the beach for Irma, and it took lights out.
Right.
And made everything really pretty.
Right. Until
it was so different. But nobody, again, we just didn't anticipate what
a direct hit. Yeah.
How this happened. But I came over, lived on the beach, got to meet the most wonderful people, the Hannons, Bill Hannon, who owned Fort Myers Beach Tattoo. That was the very first tattoo shop ever opened on the beach.
Really?
Yep.
And that's the one by Hoosiers, or was by Hoosiers?
Yeah, he had that shop for 31 years this year.
Okay.
He wrote about 70% of all the legislation for tattooing in the state.
Oh, wow.
Amazing man, and his beautiful wife Teresa. And so had the privilege of working for them, and just even fell in love more.
Mm-hmm.
Really anticipated this will be the last place I work. Like I'm going to work for them until they don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
So, no, I was working Tuesday morning, the 27th, had a noon appointment, got into the shop. We had it all boarded up, called my appointment. They said, well, we were staying at the Leaky Tiki and they evacuated us. So I'm like, oh, okay. It was just barely a breezy afternoon, Okay. So I called Bill. Okay, well, my 2 appointments aren't here. And he's all, well, then just go ahead, lock it up, go home. We'll see everybody on Thursday. So I grabbed my 2 tattoo machines, nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pick up some of the electronics and put it on the counter there. That's safe.
Yeah.
And we really thought we had appropriately battened down the hatches. I left there with my 2 machines and not one other piece of my equipment. None of us did. There's
Mhm.
the owner, myself, and Tony Gaither, another amazing work. And it was, yeah, just straight hit the front of that building. It didn't look that outrageous because some buildings were just gone.
Right.
Ours at least was semi standing there.
Mhm.
The back was gone, and everything was almost to the back bay.
That's incredible.
Like it just bulldozed through and kept on going. Poor Hannons, they had put so much. I mean, Bill had 3 shops. He had dwindled them all
Mhm.
down to that beach shop
Right.
only in just like the last 2 years. And of course, they lost everything with not much recourse and
Mhm.
so many people in the same boat with insurance, and they were one of them.
Right.
So they are not looking to rebuild. So now I'm, since September, essentially unemployed, kind of doing some VIP work. But so now I'm thinking maybe I just gotta get my own hands dirty and dig in myself.
Right.
So everybody just has to follow me on my Facebook or Instagram page. But there's going to be some big things happening
Mhm.
because when every door slams shut,
A
there's
new
going to
one
be
opens.
something
Right.
amazing that comes
Exactly.
of it.
When you guys took, the first glance at the shop, was there anything that stayed that, when you came back and locked it up, was there anything that stayed at all, or was
Ugh.
everything just like wiped out?
The first visit was absolute overwhelm. I
Mhm.
mean, just like this.
Right,
Where
right.
you just couldn't even think of what you wanted
Right.
to say or feel or
Didn't know what to
it
expect.
it was the most surreal situation.
Mhm.
Didn't see anything. Like everything was just piles on piles of what is that? And then even to try to get close, oh, well, there's somebody else's nail-filled boards upside down, like in the
Right.
sand. Every step you took, there was some other piece of debris.
Mhm.
So we kind of left it for 2 days. Then we came back again. Bill had said out loud, "Boy, if I can find anything, I just want Blue and Blackie back,"
Mhm.
which were these 2 ceramic, wouldn't think that's gonna work, ceramic food dogs that he had had for since the '70s.
Mhm.
Big ceramic food dogs. Everything is gone. I kid you not. We went back and in his wife's piercing area,
Mhm.
which is no longer even identifiable,
Right.
we see like an ear sticking up. Now we're thinking that's the ceramic head
Mhm.
of Blackie, and that's just what's in the sand right there. Both of them were together. Now they were on pedestals in a whole nother part
Mhm.
of the shop.
Mhm.
They were side by side, buried in the sand, not one crack. They got both of those back.
That's insane.
Right?
That's
Gives me
insane.
chills.
That's insane.
And I was so happy for him because to just so humbly, I just
Mhm.
want 2 ceramic food
Right.
dogs back.
Right.
I'm so glad that God gave those back.
That's so
Like,
cool.
yeah, it really was amazing. But yeah, then and your
Yeah.
brain does those little checklists of all my tattoo awards. I'll
Right.
never see them again.
Right.
There's just
You're going
I on
through
a
it.
lost and found page, Bill
Mhm.
got 2 of his awards back.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't
wow.
even know where they were found, but somebody had posted them. I believe these belong to Bill Hannon.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right?
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that kind of stuff is gonna be turning up,
Mhm. Of course. Yeah.
There's not one piece of anything except for something like that that would,
Mhm.
yeah.
And when, being in Fort Myers Beach, that most of the coast, obviously, on this side got hit the hardest. And then parts of downtown Fort Myers got hit. Areas of Bonita Beach got hit. Did you go kind of look around the area and check it out a bit? Or were you kind of just
No.
like, you know what?
Yeah, no, the emergency needed to get in
Right.
there. There were lives
Mhm.
lost.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what needed to happen. There was no room for a looky-loo or wondering. We
Right.
knew it was gone, and
Right.
that's all we really needed to do. So then you just back off and you let the professionals do what they have to do, and then once that's done, then we roll up our sleeves and
Right.
we all jump in.
Right. Right. Right.
And that's where we're still at 6 months later, is
Mhm.
just still getting dirty trying to dig it out.
Right. Yeah. And like I said, coming in to Florida, seeing like all the work that they're still doing, houses still with blue tarps on them with roof damage and everything.
Yep.
There's lots of work to do around
And
here.
and if I can mention any way for people to help,
Right.
um, uh, FMB Strong.
Mhm.
FMB
Mhm.
Strong is, charitable and trying to give back and doing so much.
Right.
They are on at 820 Buttonwood, and they are open Monday through Thursday, to receive donations,
Mhm.
and they are still needed and wanted. So if anybody wants to contribute either monetarily or through
Definitely.
food, blankets, all, any
Anything.
kind of anything,
Mhm.
um, FMB Strong, look it up, and that's where you'd wanna go, as well as Beach Baptist.
Right.
Pastor Sean, Pastor Malley are doing great work out of our church, which was also it's slated to be it was hit equally
Right.
hard, and they're still running,
Mhm.
the market and donating and giving and giving and giving.
Right. Right.
If you look up beachbaptist.org, there's a Zelle and a Venmo way to contribute.
Definitely. The beaches themselves, I mean, I don't wanna say they're open, but people are on the beach, but you can't still go in the water, correct? Or there's kinda like a
Well,
little, like,
eh,
weirdness there?
the locals are not gonna go in the water.
Right.
One, we're still dealing with red tide, which has been
Right.
pretty horrible. I was walking on the canal edge yesterday, and there's still cars and scooters and golf carts. So 6 months of seats of everything that's in that
Mhm.
water. It just when houses get ripped off, there's everything.
Right.
So, yeah, I wouldn't walk barefoot on the beach because that debris that was so deeply
Mhm.
embedded, it's there.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah.
So it looks pretty on the surface, but boy, scratch that
Yeah.
surface and it wants to bite you.
Exactly. Mhm. Yeah, and it's crazy to see and again, me and my wife, we moved back to Chicago. We see everything, like all the memories we had here, all the buildings that we used to go to, date nights, going to the beach, the restaurants, just hanging out at the Lani Kai even as well. And
Right.
like just seeing all the devastation around that whole area is just crazy. And then you go, just a little bit inland, a little bit more, and you see boats and marshes and some of
Yeah.
the trailer park areas are just completely gone. Kind of, it's
Exactly,
just
the red
nuts.
coconut,
Hmm.
yeah. Well, and now it's kind of a tear. It still looks like that, and it still wants to break your heart,
Right.
but then you look again and you see the food trucks,
Right, and you see all
and
the
you see
support.
Yo Taco,
Right.
and it's
It's gonna come back.
it's gonna come back
Right.
strong, and
Mhm.
it's all those people going, "Hey, this was our home, and yes, it got
Exactly.
hit, but we're not running away."
Right, exactly.
And yep, we're
They're gonna
just gonna
build that
make it
better.
bigger and
Mhm.
better, and we'll be there,
Yeah,
and
and
I'm
then
gonna be there.
the Margaritaville's another exciting thing that they're building.
Woo! Yep.
So,
So,
lots of big stuff coming in Fort Myers Beach.
absolutely.
But, so going back to you kinda mentioned it earlier right before we kinda talked about the hurricane, your upcoming, projects and everything that you have. Are there any possibilities of you owning a shop? Or do you like kinda doing, like, the introverted, like not
I
introvert, but, like, the
yes, no,
introverted work here and there, like, people will hit you up like, "Hey, I don't want this," or
everybody who knows me has heard me say for years and years, "I don't wanna be an owner, I just wanna be a worker bee." I just love tattooing, and everybody is, it's the owning part just never really I like to be able to get up and go and
Right.
move but there comes that time too where sometimes you're just gonna have to say if you want it done, you're gonna have to do it yourself.
Mhm.
And I feel pretty close to that's where I'm at.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not ruling it out anymore and I am starting to turn that and we'll see what happens in the next couple months, but I'm feeling pretty hopeful.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see.
Yes,
Definitely,
please.
have you on Instagram, so I see everything that you post all the time. So
Yep, I'd be happy to make
once
a
I see
baby
that,
pop in a couple months.
exactly, that'll be awesome. And then going back to like your days in Miami, you said you're not a city person. When you came from California, being on the West Coast and East Coast, a lot of people always say, and being from the Midwest myself, it's a kind of a culture shock down here. Was it at all? There's lots of different, especially being a tattoo artist, you're going to see so many different
Right.
type of people.
I
Is it kind of a culture shock when you first came here, or were you
I
kind of
don't
used to it?
I wasn't really used to it. I mean, California, yeah, but I don't know how to describe it. No, it wasn't like a culture shock. It was just a wow,
It's a good
yay.
aura.
Yeah, wow, yay. So many of so many. Like
Right,
I love differences and
right,
yeah.
yeah.
So it was just exciting.
For me, I would, people have always asked when I was 18 coming down here if it was, because Florida at the time for me was always a vacation spot. But I've always told my family, like, I'm going to move to Florida. I'm going to school to Florida. Like, that's what I want to do. And then when I came down here, like, it wasn't too, like, I was homesick more so than I was like culturally shocked down here because there's a lot of Midwesterners around here. So it kind of felt homey a little bit, but
Okay. See, and that's what I didn't
right.
know anything about.
Yeah. So like when I came down here, I mean, I knew of Fort Myers. I didn't know how very heavily Midwest presence there was down here because you see like the tags. I mean, the snowbirds come all the time. But you see the Michigan plates, the Illinois plates, all the plates around the Midwest. Going back to your tattoo work, what are some of the strangest tattoos you think you have done that you can recall doing?
Wow, strangest perspective. Give me parameters of what you think is strange.
Um,
Is it
either
location, content,
I'd say a little bit of
where I
both.
was
Yeah,
tattooing?
a little bit of both, like the location on the body and
Okay.
the content of the tattoo itself.
Okay. Um, on the fly, one that I just wasn't expecting was Wayne's song that the lyric is "The gun on my side."
Mhm,
When he did the Grammys, that was changed to "The gun on my neck,"
mhm.
but he didn't have a gun on his neck. So that's how I ended up at the Grammys. And literally, he was going to rehearsals, coming back to have me tattoo a 6-inch gun on his neck.
Really?
And that's how he ended up with that big old gun right there. That was a what? Wait, we got to do what? For what? So that was kind of interesting. Um, I tattoos for people can really become therapeutic
Mhm.
where they're doing more than just putting an image in their skin.
Right.
They're healing something. Um, and so sometimes, and because there's that small amount of discomfort, it tends to make people want to kind of purge thoughts and feelings.
Right.
It's almost like being with a therapist.
Right.
So I've gotten some interesting audios myself as I'm tattooing. And so I've heard some interesting healing stories, but one, and I hope it doesn't seem this is me. I tattooed a man that had come to see me, and I tattooed a handcuff on one testicle
Really?
with the chain going up over his penis with the other handcuff on the other testicle.
That's so
So before I'd even kind of agreed to doing it because when he said he wanted handcuff,
Right.
that could almost be. And again, it is not my job to judge, but as a
Right.
human being, we kind of put images.
Right, right.
So I think he just saw the look on my face, like, please don't be that guy. Please don't be that guy. And he was French and he goes, I can see your concern. So let me explain. I recently conquered testicular cancer.
Mm.
That was like stage 4. Like
Right.
he really thought he wasn't going to survive it.
Mm-hmm.
And the impact was he would no longer be able to achieve.
Right.
And so he felt shackled, but
Mm.
he was grateful to be alive.
That's actually really interesting.
Right?
Right. Wow.
And it changed like,
The perspective,
oh,
right.
see what happens if I was gonna be judgy,
Right.
And I was completely humbled and
Mhm.
honored that he wanted me to do that.
Right.
It just switched the entire image of it. So that to me definitely burned in. Like,
Right.
everybody's got a
Right.
struggle we don't know about.
Mhm. And it's always crazy because, when I got my tattoos, I've had people come up to me and they're like, but why? Why do you want that? Because that's what I want. I like the
Exactly.
art,
I've had people go, well, doesn't it have to be meaningful?
Exactly. I've gotten that too.
No, sometimes they just make me smile.
Yeah.
I have a teddy bear with a Jason mask and an axe. And that little bugger cracks me up
Right.
on the worst days. So yeah, no, meaning is all relevant. Like it can
Right.
be something little. Um, you know, tattooing Wayne definitely had its adventures. Like
Mhm.
when someone says I want a full body suit, you don't always calculate they
Right.
mean a full body suit, like
Right,
the
right.
entire soles of his feet are covered. So, that's always like,
Have you done
wow.
like those eyeball tattoos that people do? I don't know if that's actually a thing.
That's so almost just I don't even know how they get to call that tattooing, because in tattooing, we are using a pigment that
Mhm.
we are merely putting into the dermis layer. That they are injecting
Like an ink?
ink in between a membrane layer and the eyeball. That's giving your eyeball a shot.
Right.
That's not even tattooing. They're not over the eye surface. So that's
Have you ever had somebody ask for that or no?
no, I have not.
That's interesting. That's
And I'm grateful.
I don't think I could
Again,
ever
I
do
don't
that.
want to be judgy, but no, thank you. Eyeball things freak me out. They did when I was an animal control officer. They do with a tattooer. Eyeball things.
Yeah, I don't think I could ever do that too. I mean, the weirdest tattoo I don't think this is weird, but like, I think the most random place for me, because I just want sleeves, possibly a chest piece, maybe back. Sometimes I think about like, do I want my calf or do I want my, on my leg, anything like that. Those are probably like the weirdest ones for me. But
Yeah.
I never think about having leg tattoos, but like I see some like on other people, I'm like, okay, those look nice. I look at me, I'm like, I don't know if I can have a leg tattoo. It just
See, and
seems
I
weird.
think they look odd. I mean, to me, it's what shows.
Mhm.
We do sleeves because we wear short sleeves and you
Right.
can see your arms.
Right.
We live in Florida.
Right. Right.
You show those legs and you decorate them.
What would you say to any artists or upcoming tattoo artists, like suggestions and, just like your expertise and everything and your skills that you've done, like for anybody that's coming up into the tattoo world and, they may be hesitant or, this is what they want to do, but they've never experienced or they've have no
Right.
experience in it.
No fear. Don't cower. There's a lot of bullies out there. Really is just be fearless. Go
Mhm.
for what you want. Put 100 into it and do it with your heart more than your head.
Mhm.
And you're going to get put in the right
Right.
direction.
And then does as a tattoo artist, do you have, and every tattoo artist is a little bit different, but do you ever have moments where somebody's like, oh, I want to get this piece? And I'm not saying it just on the placement, but like the art that they want. Do you ever have to tweak it up a bit? And you're like, maybe this might look better, or is it because this is what
I
they
think
want? This is what they
80% of the time.
Mhm.
Sure, that's what you're hiring me to do, is
Right.
take your image and make it worthy to be seen forever.
Right.
So as an artist, that's supposed to be in our wheelhouse, to
Mhm.
I love your ideas. I see where you're going with this because a lot of times what people see on paper can't
Doesn't
even
right,
transfer onto skin.
right.
It's the paper's never gonna move or shift, have cells
Mhm.
change. Your skin does, so gaps have to be wider. There's certain things that are just that's how you have to and I've always considered myself a tattooer,
Right.
not an artist,
Right, right.
I know that part.
Does the, what kinda style would you say your work is? Do you have, like, a certain style you kind of cater to?
Thanks to coming up in Miami, there's no such thing.
Really?
There's so many tattooers
Mhm.
that I think if, you're just one laning it, you're limiting
Right.
yourself. So I've really tried to be very open and get good at a variety of things.
Mhm.
Now some things are going to be more new, so
Right.
but like no, I'm an adventurer. I love trying all the new things.
Mhm.
Everything from trash polka, which came up a few years ago and was so popular, and watercolor. Ooh,
Mhm.
that's so fun.
Right.
So there's lots of things. I love working with color. Um, I love working with fine lines. I love doing Polynesian pieces.
Mhm.
For black and gray, I would say my favorite is like doing Polynesian or Hawaiian style tribal. And for color, anything that has lots of details,
Mhm.
just let me dive in.
Has there been a piece that you've been offered to do, but either you couldn't do or it was, I don't wanna say too difficult, but, like, too difficult, I guess, in lack of better terms?
I don't do portraits.
You don't do
I
portraits.
do not do human portraits. I'll work on animals
Mhm.
because I
Right.
that's yeah.
Is it
Um,
because you don't
I would never wanna put something on anybody that isn't amazing.
right.
And it's not in my skill set to make an
Mhm.
amazing face. To be that person, it's all the little, the shadow on the side of his
Right,
nose
right.
and those are just things I haven't
Mhm.
studied or, you know, dove into enough myself to be
Right.
good at it.
I feel like if I were to be a tattoo, I mean, I have no artistic ability at all. But if I ever were and somebody came up to me asking for that, I would probably make them look like a caricature.
Yeah.
Caricature. I can't even
Yeah.
say the word.
Caricature.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have no problem saying, "Nope, I'm not gonna do that
Right.
one for you." And it's not to be rude or snobby,
Mhm.
it's if I don't think I can knock it out of the park, I'm not gonna put it on you.
Right, right. And then every piece that you do you always post it or you post like
No.
your favorite ones or
Um,
just ones you want to show off or
yeah, I guess it, like, depends. Sometimes you're in that super social mood,
right.
and it could be the 3 waves I just did. "Oh,
Yeah.
here we go," And some days you just feel, I'm just a little more chill," or it was just a more personal piece for that
Mhm.
person, so it feels hard to wanna celebrate it
Right.
publicly if it was something big for them. I'm an empath, so I tend to wear a lot of whatever that person's
Right.
feeling,
Right.
and that can get kinda heavy sometimes at the end of the day, and that's mostly when I'm not posting it is, "Okay, they just had a heavy story to go
Right.
with that, and we're gonna just let them own that."
Right. 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 And then for your, you know, other kind of tattoos is, I know you mentioned the ones you've done on Wayne, but is there anybody and not by name, but like, is there any work that you've done like here in Fort Myers or just anywhere in your career that is your one of your favorite pieces that you've ever done?
Mm,
It could even be on you.
yeah. Um, I love doing mosaics,
Mhm.
like tile mosaics, and, there's a man in Oregon who has a full shark down the back of his calf from the pretty much the well of his knee down to his Achilles. I
Mm.
loved doing that. That was like a 6-hour piece.
Did it hurt? Did
Uh,
he say it hurt?
again, when you get to any of them, no matter where they are, and you hit about that 4-hour mark, from
Right.
4 to finish, it hurts. It
And it was
just
a straight
hurts.
through 6-hour piece?
Yeah.
He didn't take a break? Or you didn't take a
Probably
break?
probably a potty break or a drink, but no, not more than like a 5 minutes up and stretch, get
Oh,
yourself right, and get back at it.
interesting.
But yeah, when you're coloring like there was probably a few hundred tiles,
Right,
you know,
right. Yeah.
but
Wow.
but it's just so, it just looked fantastic. The showgirls on Wayne's Hip,
Mhm.
I love those, but those nobody sees. We never see.
Right.
Somebody sees, but it's not me. It's not me, it's not you.
Well,
And
you
it
seen it
was
once when you did
right.
it.
And that's about the biggest one I've ever done on him next to
Really?
that gun was yes, it's like a whole collage of showgirls,
Mm.
like Vegas style showgirls. And it was just dope how that put together.
What was the inspiration behind that? Why did when he came to you, he's like, "This is what I want," and did he have, like, a story to it, or did he just say, "This is what I want"?
No, sometimes it was just kind of a, you know, I know he likes the girls.
Mhm.
Um, and they were pretty, and he had just come back from Vegas. He was watching I think he went to Vegas for a fight or something, and it
Mhm.
just had that image in my head. The space was perfect. It was just one of those odd things that just kind of boiled out of me, and he would pretty much show me a space and say, "Well, this is what I'm vibing." Sometimes he would know what he want. Most of the time it
Mhm.
was a get something here and
Right.
let me see what you're thinking first,
And I'm assuming that showgirl one was, like, tattoo 125 out of 300
Right.
plus. That's insane. Like, I don't
Mhm.
even know if I could ever do 300 tattoos. I'm a wimp when it comes to pain, but, like, I can tolerate certain pain levels, but
I think
300?
I put, like it's probably, like, 13, 15 on his face.
That's insane.
Yeah,
That's so crazy.
right? But he
Especially,
has
like
his stars like mine, and they glow under a UV light.
really?
Oh, that was a fun one doing for the "I'm Not a Human Being" video.
Mm.
So, the lips on his neck in that video that glowed nuclear, those are
Mhm.
my daughters, and then we glowed up all his stars
Really?
for that video, and that was fun.
Like, obviously tattoos wear, but, like, does
The UV part,
mhm.
I've checked mine recently, like, I have a big blank spot right here, that has a big 13 in it,
Oh, okay.
and I've checked it recently, and because I don't sunscreen like any other
Right.
tattoo, the UV would damage it, and it does look like it doesn't glow the same,
Oh.
but that's probably 15 years old too.
Are you gonna touch that one up?
So, I don't even now in Miami, because there's so many clubs,
Right.
I tattooed a lot of UV on girls that worked in the clubs and
Mhm.
stuff, but, there's not so much of that activity out
Right.
here,
Right.
so it's kind of a supply and demand
Yeah.
thing.
I've only seen a couple of UV ones, mainly
Yeah,
on the like you said, on, like, club people,
yep.
but yeah, that's
And the
interesting.
particular pigment I was using, which was the only one I felt very safe with, it was developed by basically, it was an offshoot from the Fish and Wildlife Department
Mhm.
pigment they used to hit salmon to
Right.
show what was wild and what was farmed.
Oh.
So that was the safe one. It was the only pigment
Mhm.
that was USDA certified,
Right, right.
basically. So,
Interesting.
yeah, because you'd have to be very careful with anything like that, that they weren't
Mhm.
slipping any type of phosphorus
Right,
or
right, right. And I'm pretty sure Florida has some pretty strict tattoo laws.
you bet.
Mhm.
And yep, we support them.
Yeah. Do you have a timeline on when you think you'll be done tattooing? Or do you think you're just gonna
I will do
always
this until part of my body says, "Girl, you're done." It's so fun. I
Right.
love it so much. Like, it's almost my own therapy as much as it is the person getting a tattoo.
Mhm.
Like, it just lets me do my little ADHD hyper focus, like,
Right,
all
right.
those things that I wanna do naturally, it lets me get that out.
Do you ever get
So, I
antsy?
love it.
Like, in the middle of one? Like, do you ever, like
No, but that's why my tattoos don't go more than 3 hours, because that's when I start getting antsy. Yeah, no, I've really kinda kept it where that 3 hours and under per session.
Mhm.
I do pieces that are larger, but they're with folks that are okay with coming back in 2
Right,
weeks,
right.
And that keeps it comfortable for everybody, including myself, which is gonna
Mhm.
let you get the best art and the best
Mhm, mhm.
experience out of it.
Yeah.
So, no, until my hands or something says, "Nope, this is too complicated." This is what I'm hoping to grow old doing.
Right. This has been awesome. Like, a great
This
conversation.
has been
Yes.
awesome. I appreciate it.
I'm really glad that I had you on. I'm happy that it finally happened because I know I've been hitting you up since I'm pretty sure I hit you up since after the hurricane.
I appreciate your tenacity because I know I was hard to get.
No. Listen, things happen, life happens, so
Hurricanes happen.
Yep. So I'm glad that this happened. Everybody that will be tuning in, I hope that they check out your page. They start hitting you up, and then you are a busy bee.
God bless. Stay strong. Let's get through this and see that rainbow on the other side.
From sharecropping to pot stills, America's only Black-owned farm-to-bottle distillery is using their 4th-generation farm to create world-class, award-winning spirits made in the heart of Arkansas Delta. And they're doing it with sweet potatoes. Yes, sweet potatoes. Their sweet potato vodka has been racking up awards, including double gold, triple gold, and best of class. Find them online at deltadirtdistillery.com or on Facebook and Instagram at Delta Dirt Distillery, and see why they're named the 2023 Arkansas Tourism Attraction of the Year at this year's Arkansas Governor's Conference. Must be 21 and up to drink. Please drink responsibly.